This is Hino's Sport bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, you guys. As you guys know, and in Prediction King fashion, and the Prediction King strikes again. And the Prediction King strikes again, man. Hino's Sport, like I always tell you guys, has his thumb and the needle on every damn situation. I told you guys, man, Kenny Porter and Shawn Porter and family, they have been pushing for this fight. Now, the question is, does Terence Crawford wants to stop being a chihuahua and barking behind the damn fence and step up to the plate and actually prove that he's supposedly the boogeyman and actually fight Shawn Porter? Or is he just going to continue to be a chihuahua barking behind the damn fence? It's really up to him. I mean, it's simple. Because Shawn Porter is available. And I don't want to hear this foolery that people keep talking about, because I'm seeing it in my comment section. People are telling me, oh, Shawn don't got no belt. That's a Budman fan response. Oh, Shawn, you know what I'm saying? He ain't nobody for Terence Crawford to fight. Who is he? That's a Terence Crawford fanboy man crush response. We know them. They're really not Terence Crawford Budman fans or Terence Crawford fanboy man crushes. They're just Errol the True Spence haters. We're starting to put this together. I keep telling you guys, there's a lot of fake ass Errol the True Spence haters out here. Fake ass Errol the True Spence supporters. They don't care about Terence Crawford like that. This is why a lot of them have become dormant lately. This is why a lot of them have left the Terence Crawford bandwagon ship, because they saw in the green bean machine or the green mean machine fight that he got exposed at his truest and his most prosperous levels. Listen, Terence Crawford needs to prove something to me, and he needs to prove something to the boxing world. He's been clamoring for PBC fighters to fight him. If that is the case, Shawn Porter's available. Fight that man. If I was Errol the True Spence, I would have said, look, and I like the way Deontay Wilder did that with Dillian White. That's what separates the weak from the strong. Let me say it again. It separates the weak from the strong. I just took the terminology from my boy Tom Ross TV, fellow Double Dragons True Alpha. In order to separate the weak from the strong, Deontay Wilder told Dillian White, if you want to fight me, you got to get through Luis Ortiz. This is how I know you're ready to fight. Dillian White didn't want that. He wanted to skip the line, basically get out of the bed, don't brush his teeth. And when I say don't brush his teeth, meaning don't do no heavyweight lifting and just go into the fight. It doesn't happen like that. And people need to understand that at its truest and its most properest levels. You gotta be able to pay your dues. You gotta crawl before you walk, so to speak. And this is what Deontay Wilder was trying to get Dillian White to do. This is what Errol the True Spence needs Terence Crawford to do. Just like Al Heyman is mentally and physically whipping Bob Arum to let him know who's the A side equation versus his B side position. This is how Errol the True Spence can do it from a pugilistic standpoint. You want to fight me? You want to get out the bed? You know what I'm saying? Don't brush your teeth. Basically, don't do no heavyweight lifting and just run into the super fight. Let's rewind that, dog. You need to get through and fight Shawn Porter. You need to fight the guy that gave me the hardest fight of my career. Although, even though I outbrawled him, I did not, you know what I'm saying, knock him out like I knocked out every other opponent. I didn't completely wash him. I beat him 9-3. I beat him 8-4. But it's arguable that that was the closest fight that I had. It's the same thing with Deontay Wilder. When they talk about the fight with Luis Ortiz, this is why he ran it back, right? Even though Errol the True Spence definitively beat Shawn Porter 8-4 and 9-3, it still was a fight where he got touched up. So Errol the True Spence is probably like, oh, hold up. If I was him, you need to fight this guy too. Because we need to see where your gauging point is at. We need to see where your litmus test is at. Previously, the reason why I said Kell Brook is because Kell Brook was the previous litmus test. Because Errol the True Spence lost the first 6 rounds, but then turned around in the second half of the fight and went into unlimited pressure of adjustment of tactical aggression, technical punching placement, and body snatching work, the levying onslaught of the punishment style. And that within itself forced Kell Brook to get in Boyz II Men bending knee style via 11th round because that pressure was too much. I told you pressure does one or two things. It either bursts his pipes or it becomes best friends with you. And it burst Kell Brook's pipes. That's right. Unlimited pressure is an adjustment because you can't account for that. This is why I call Errol the True Spence the Energizer Bunny of boxing. But Terence Crawford needs to be tested because we need to know where his true litmus test at 147 is at. I know where it's at because when you fight a lame duck Jeff Horn, when you fight a one-legged Jose Benavidez, when you fight a 5-year past his prime Amir Khan, and you fight a guy that was 262 days on the shelf a la Green Bean Machine or Green Mean Machine, we know where your truest and your most properest levels is at. And then now you're looking for the winner of Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez. Yes, this tells me you are not confirmed legitimately as a 147. You're actually masquerading or basically what we call hiding in sheep's clothing as a 147 pounder when you're really a 140 pounder. Because this guy doesn't know which weight class he wants to fall on. So yes, if I was Errol the True Spence, I would say, look, you want my fight? Get through Shawn Porter. Because Shawn Porter's available. He gave Kenny Porter the blessing. Kenny Porter's been clamoring for this. And it's so ironic that Bob Arum just comes out of nowhere and says, oh yeah, we just saw that Kenny Porter and then put a proposal out there to fight us. This is nonsense, man. And as boxing fans, it is your job to hold these people accountable and keeps the foot on the what? On the necks. And keeps the foot on the what? On the necks. You have to keep the foot on the damn necks. Can't just be a he knows the sport thing. I don't know how to let my foot off the damn neck because I always apply unlimited pressure. You guys have to do that too so you can burst the damn pipes. And you have to do this with content creator, platform creators that are not upholding the standard of boxing. If they're sitting here and making every excuse for Terence Crawford, you need to keep the foot on the what? On the necks. You need to keep the foot on the what? On the necks. If you see Terence Crawford not doing what he's supposed to, you need to go to him and keeps the foot on the what? On the necks. You need to keep the foot on the what? On the necks. How do you do that? You demand this fight via social media. You blow up Terence Crawford's social media because apparently he likes to bark like a chihuahua bark behind the damn fence on social media. So bark right back and to bed and master style. Right? You need to clamor for the fight and ask for it. As boxing fans, you need to say, look, this fight will make money. We will watch this fight. I don't know no boxing fan that will not be entertained watching a Shawn Porter versus a Terence Crawford fight. Because a lot of questions will be answered in that fight. Because we know no one is going to outbox Shawn Porter. Not even Errol the True Spence was able to do that. Errol the True Spence had to stay in the phone booth because Shawn Porter has this thing and you got to give him credit for that. This is why I no longer call him Shawn Constipated Porter. I call him Shawn Gatekeeper Porter because he does not allow you to outbox him. His pride won't allow that. And you got to give him credit. He's going to make it an ugly fight. But that's Bud's forte, to try to outbox you, to try to switch from orthodox to southpaw, to try to throw punches in between punches, to try to change the acceleration on punches. But if he's not able to do that comfortably, now he's forced to fight in the hit me, I'm going to hit you back. Hit me, I'm going to hit you back. Hit me, I'm going to hit you back. That's a flawed DNA fighter style. Let me say it again. It's a flawed DNA fighter style that actually is going to play in the ineffective aggression style of Shawn Porter because Shawn Porter is going to apply pressure. He has an underrated jabbing ability. That was made example in the Errol the True Spence fight because he was landing some jabs. See, I'm going to keep that same energy, dog. Let me say it again. I'm going to keep that same energy because I know what I saw in that fight. He was touching up Errol the True Spence. Errol the True Spence just touched him up more accurately and more effectively, but Errol the True Spence got touched up. His face is evident of that. But Terence Crawford doesn't want that kind of work because Shawn Porter, like Errol the True Spence said at the end of the fight, he actually has power. And Shawn Porter has power to drop a Terence Crawford. It's not by accident that Paulie Malignaggi got dropped the way he did by Shawn Porter. It's not by accident that everyone that's been in a fight with Shawn Porter has came out in some kind of bruise, nicks, knots, something. They come out with something. And Terence Crawford, the way he got dropped by Mean Machine or Mean Green Machine or Green Bean Machine, however you want to call him, We know unquestionably and unequivocally that a fight against Shawn Porter would be a way worse outcome. So as fight fans, y'all need to demand this. Because if you don't, then this fight is not going to happen. Because this is what Bob Arum looks for. This is what helps him move the thumb and move the needle. Because Bob Arum is all associated with money. That's what his motivator is. This is why he wants the Errol the True Spence fight, because he knows it's the money fight. Remember, Errol the True Spence is no longer the boogeyman. He is the man, the big fish eating all the little guppies. This is why they want the Errol the True Spence fight, because they understand what Errol the True Spence brings to the table from an economic standpoint, from a politics standpoint, and from a pugilistic standpoint. Remember what I told you, boxing is a three-pronged monster. But people want to see, a la Bob Arum, that Shawn Porter, although he doesn't bring the same cachet that Errol the True Spence bring, he wants to see that he's able to move the thumb and move the needle, because he knows that his own fighter is boring and unmarketable. So he's basically leaning it on the other fighter to do all of the heavyweight lifting in terms of promotion. Shawn Porter has shown that he can move the thumb and move the needle, but it's boxing fans that need to push for this. This is how this fight is going to happen. You guys need to demand it. And as you demand it, it will happen. Because until further notice, I don't see Terence Crawford clamoring for, I want to fight Shawn Porter. What I hear is, my buddy and me. Let me say it again. My buddy and me. And number 3, for confirmation, my buddy and me. All I'm hearing is, we're not interested in this fight. Please don't mention that name anymore. Let me say it again. We're not interested in that fight. Please don't mention that name anymore. If it quack, quack like a duck and it sounds like a quack, quack, then it is a damn quack, quack duck. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that's the facts. Because when you sit here and say that you want PBC fighters, then whichever PBC fighter is available, you need to take it. Because it's the better option. Who at 147 is better than Shawn Porter that's not on Terence Crawford's resume? Or that's on Terence Crawford's resume. Let's see. Shawn Porter is not more marketable or not better than a lame duck Jeff Horn? Come on, dodo heads. Brain full of mush and brainwashed followers. Shawn Porter's not better than a one-legged or one-gimp Jose Benavidez? Come on, classic dolts and troglodytes. Shawn Porter is not better than a 5-year past his prime maimed glass chin Amir Khan? Come on, ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. Shawn Porter is not better than a green bean machine, green mean machine? Come on, reverse bias, a.k.a. detractors, a.k.a. panders. You guys got to hold these people's feet to the damn fire. And you have to keep the foot on the what? On the necks. You got to keep the foot on the what? On the necks. If you don't do that, then guess what? The fight is not going to happen and people are not going to be held accountable. This is what 2020 needs to be about. Let's crush it and let's hold people accountable, because Shawn Porter is available and this is the fight that needs to happen. And if Terence Crawford steps up to the plate and fight Shawn Porter, then I will give him props for that, because that's telling me that he really wants to push himself as a 147-pounder. Until then, looking for the winner of a Josh Taylor and a Jose Ramirez confirms what I already thought about Terence Crawford. He's a chihuahua barking behind the damn fence, masquerading as a supposed boogeyman. We know who the real boogeyman at 147 is. That's your Dennis Ugas. This is Hino's Sport. Checking out.